Hello folks, welcome along to A Taste of Country with Lucia Butler. I've got a gentleman here beside me. His name is Brendan Magee. Welcome, Brendan.
Lucia, thanks very much indeed. It's great to be along and part of your programme today.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure, Brendan. I actually met you a few times, but to see you singing there tonight on stage was a great, you did a great performance there with Eugene Cunningham.
Yeah, we're just here in Conway 3 in London with Seamus Moore, and we really enjoyed it. It was a great night and the place was buzzing.
Mm-hmm. And now, Brendan, before we go any further, I know you're living in Sligo there at the moment, but you're not a Sligo man, you're from Fermanagh?
That's correct, yeah. Actually, I was originally from Wembley, and we moved back to Ireland when I was 9 years of age and living in Fermanagh, and then...
that's where I live, in Wembley. That's where I'm from, Wembley.
That's right, I knew you had Wembley connections as well, so we could have been neighbours in the past and we wouldn't have known it.
Well, I mean, sorry, I live in Wembley now for the last 15 years or whatever, but I'm from Wexford, Brendan.
I know you're a good old Wexford lass from the sunny southeast.
And so you moved back to Ireland when you were very young?
When I was 9, yeah. But I don't have the accent anymore.
No, you don't. And tell me, Brendan, you're singing from a very, very young age, right?
Yeah, I started singing in the pubs when I was about 13, 14 years of age, along with my dad, as a two-piece group, and we were called Glenshine. And we did a lot of gigs around the northwest of Ireland at the time, and it was that's where I got my foundation for moving onwards and upwards, so we can say.
And you play an instrument there, Brendan?
Yeah, I play the keyboards and the piano accordion, also play the guitar as well.
Okay, very good. And do you normally do one piece back home for the social dancing scene?
Yeah, social dancing, as you know, Lucy, it's really a hot potato at home at the moment. It's everywhere and it's really spreading. And generally, I do a one man show, but more and more now I'm doing more gigs with Eugene Cunningham. Eugene, of course, has a great pedigree. He played with Jimmy Buckley and John Hogan as their lead guitar player. And I'm lucky enough now that Eugene has teamed up with me on this English tour, and he's going to be doing more gigs with me this year and next year as well.
Watching and listening to the two of you on the stage, I tell you something, like two comedians and fantastic singers and musicians. Well done. Yeah,
it's great crack. It's nice, as a one-man band it's very enjoyable, but when you have two people on stage you really can bounce off each other, and I think sometimes maybe two is better than one, maybe on the stage as well, for just visually as well. Now I know a lot of one-man bands are very, very good as regards musicianship and singing, but sometimes I think from a visual point of view people like to see maybe 2 or 3 people on the stage.
So you're both easy on the eye as well?
Oh yeah, 2 stunners.
And I know Eugene Cunningham is a fantastic songwriter. Brendan, do you write any songs yourself?
I do indeed, and just before I talk about my songwriting, Eugene wrote a song called Waltz Down Memory Lane, which I've recorded, and it's been out now since November, and lucky enough it's got very good airplay on all the radio stations, the internet stations, the local stations, and even some of the national stations have played it, and it's one of the tracks on my new album which is coming out. And actually there's another song, 2 songs on the album. One I wrote myself, which is called Social Dancing.
I have to stop you there because it's a very good song, I have to tell you. Social dancing has really taken off there in Ireland, hasn't it?
Oh, it's as I describe it, it's a phenomenon really, and I suppose the pub scene has declined somewhat, which is very, very sad. But to combat that, though, the social dancing scene has really taken off, and people of all ages, basically. I know you could say it's from middle age and up that go to social dancing, but more and more you see young people now coming along. They're really enjoying the dancing, and it's a nice evening's entertainment and a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm. And what would have inspired you to write that song? Were you just sitting there one afternoon when the dancing was going on, or were you thinking about it for a while before you penned it?
I was coming home from a gig one night, and I just thought, social dancing, what? There has to be a song on that. And I got a few lines in my head, social dancing, come join us for some fun. And it just basically built on that. And within a few hours when I got home, I just kept at it, and I had the song written. So it's just kind of as simple as that, really.
Well, it's a lovely song, Brendan, and of course I play it there, and I played it today on my show. As you were coming here tonight, but I do play your music and I do enjoy it, and it's on your forthcoming album there that's going to be launched around May time.
Yeah.
Second time round, I believe.
Second time around, and basically it's aptly titled because my last album was recorded back in 1993, and it's 21 years since so I was just thinking what kind of a title could I have, and that's what just sprang to mind was Second Time Around, because I did have a break away from music for 6 years. I was an airline pilot with Air Arran based in Galway.
Flying all over the place, I do believe.
Well, all over Ireland and the UK, and we used to do the old trips into France too during the summer, so a very enjoyable job. And but just unfortunately with the recession, Air Arran pulled out of Galway, and basically I was surplus to requirement then, so a lot of the guys headed for Australia and some of the guys headed for the Middle East, and I headed back to the stage again to play the old bit of music.
But you seem to have a great passion for it anyway, Brendan.
Oh, I love music. It's just, as my mother said, if you're able to sing a song or play an instrument, you'll never go hungry. And as you can see by the signs of me, I haven't gone hungry in a while. But no, it's a gift, and it's great to be able to go out there and when you start playing, first of all, nobody's dancing, and all of a sudden then you get them out on the floor, and by the end of the night, people have really had an enjoyable night, and it's nice to be able to do that and give people a bit of fun and a bit of crack, and it's good exercise as well.
I see you had them all out on the floor there tonight.
Yeah, they're fantastic dancers here. Seamus Moore really runs a great venue here, and it's a great opportunity for the Irish bands to get into London, because there's very few venues in London now really that are doing music anymore. I suppose it's just maybe that the older generation of Irish people are moving on, or maybe and the younger generation coming through aren't really interested in the kind of music we're playing, maybe. So, but then, as you know, Nathan Carter, Derek Ryan, these guys are really setting the trend now amongst younger people, the teeny boppers and the 20-year-olds, and maybe that might filter through to us guys as well.
So country music is still alive, eh?
Oh, country music is huge now, and watch this space. I think country music is going to come back with a bang, big time.
Well, unfortunately, the venues are gone, and we had the biggest venue here, the Galtymore, just up the road from here. Brendan, did you ever appear or play in the Galtymore?
No, I never did. And of course, there was the National and the Gresham, and there was so many places in London. During my parents' time, they would have obviously danced in all these venues, and I met some people here tonight, friends of my mum and dad's, and they obviously would have met and had fun and danced there, in the Galty and places like that. So it's a shame, really, but who knows? Maybe sometime down the road, something might again emerge in London.
It's a part of history, really, but there's a lot of stories to be told there.
Yeah, stories you probably don't want to tell either, Lucia. So we can keep that secret to yourself.
We'll move on with that one, Brendan. But a lot of stories to be told there. So the album launch is going to take place a few venues around the country.
Yeah, I'm hoping that in May that probably have one around the northwest where I'm living in Sligo, and maybe down around one of the Midlands, and maybe look at the southeast, and maybe down around the Cork area, something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky enough now that I've built up a bit of a following around the country through the social dancing, and it'd be nice now if they can come out and support me just to try and get the album moving if we can.
Well, I would say to people, I have seen you live there tonight, and I wasn't disappointed, Brendan. As I said, you're a gentleman. I've met you out and about, and you've well proven yourself there on stage tonight. I mean, I as I say, I do play your music and I enjoy it, but seeing you live, fantastic. Well done.
Thanks very much, Lucia. We do put our 100% energy into it, and you have to keep moving. You don't slack at all. You just keep the music lively and keep the people entertained. That's what it's all about. Keep
those feet and toes tapping. Any videos, DVDs?
No, that's something I'd like to do, obviously, down the road. I've just been very busy with other projects at the moment, and but my plan is hopefully to do, especially for social dancing, because it is picking up quite a bit of airplay around the place at the moment. So hopefully in the next maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I might look at trying to get a video done to accompany that song.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there'll be a few more songs being penned somewhere along the line, will there?
No doubt, yeah. There's always ideas somewhere being scribbled on pieces of paper and that. But Eugene Cunningham, obviously, that plays along with me. Eugene has written some fine songs over the years, and some of the major artists have recorded his songs as well. So for me, it's a privilege that he's teamed up with me and we can do gigs together, because he's a good role model as well for me, because he's been around the block and he's seen all the gigs and what people expect from a band. So it's great to have him along.
And I don't know if it ever happened to you, but you could be driving along and you'll have maybe 4 lines of a song, and then you'll think, I'll write that down now when I stop, and when you stop, you've forgotten.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. And I had, with all great intentions, I bought myself a dictaphone before, and I think one of the kids got a hold of it, and that was the end of that.
Speaking of kids, how many children you got? I know the lovely Sinead, the wife. How many kids you got?
Yeah, we have 3. Aaron is 9, Ryan is 6, and Kevin is 4, and they absolutely love country music. It's amazing now, at home you could find them, rather than watching their cartoons and stuff, they'd be watching recorded programs maybe of Hot Country or Philmac or Midwest Radio's program as well, Ireland West TV, and they love country music. So
it's instilled in them, I guess, then from an early age as well, Brendan.
Oh yeah, but we don't discourage them from listening to other kinds of music as well, which is very important. They have to make up their own minds, but obviously they choose to listen to that of their own free will, so which is great.
And any instrument playing with the youngsters?
Yeah, well, Erin plays the piano, and she's lucky enough, she's taken to it very quickly. She picked it up very quickly, and she's making great progress. So the 2 lads, I think, are a little bit on the young side at the moment. They're not really, we're trying to ask them, do they want to play something, but at the moment we're getting a big negative on that. So
the spoons, maybe the spoons.
The only spoons they use is for eating ice cream.
And tell me, what, Brendan, when you were growing up, who would have been your inspiration? Who would have inspired you in the music? Like, would it have been the Irish or the American music?
Well, I suppose my dad would have had collections of the old vinyls, albums, and even singles from Homespun Records and all these kind of guys. So I would have been listening from everything from Larry Cunningham to Big Tom, and then Brendan Shine. And Brendan Shine, of course, had his program on the television on RTE at one stage as well. And I think maybe when I was about 9 or 10, I think I'd learned off the Rose of Castlereagh or something, and I was asked to sing up one night. My dad had a band at the time, and I think that was the start. I think it was the first song I sang on stage was The Rose of Castlereagh by Brendan Shine. So so I really had no exposure to the American artists from an early age. It was all the Irish artists really, but a lot of people can criticise some of the American country now that it's gone very rocky and very poppy, but there's still some of the traditional guys, the likes of George Strait and Alan Jackson. Now I'd love those guys. Vince Gill, I've been to seeing Vince Gill a few times, and these guys are just
amazing,
the creme de la creme really of country music. Definitely.
Have you been to Nashville yourself?
Yeah, I've been in Nashville. I was in Nashville twice, and a great place to be. But funny, it's not a kind of place you'd expect. You think it'd be full of country bars and venues and stuff, but it's very commercialised. But there is obviously 1 or 2 streets where there's a lot of country activity going on. But again, and you've got guys playing in bars there and bands, and they are so talented, but yet they just don't get a chance.
I hear that from so many people, and a friend of mine recently has been and recorded into the pubs and said this has happened at 11 o'clock in the day, and bands, they're absolutely fantastic, as you said, singers and musicians, and are trying to get recognised, and I think that's really good. I think that's really good, because if you remember back in Ireland where people would have gone to all the neighbours' houses, and the music would be going, the fire would be lighting there, and the crack, to be storytelling and all around it. Does that still happen at home, Brendan?
Well, with us now, we always try to have a bit of a sing-song in the evening with the kids. It doesn't happen every evening, but sometimes we get them going, we get them singing, trying to encourage them to, because they have good singing voices. And Sinead will say that they take it from her side of the family, so thanks, Sinead, for that. I think I might have something to do with it too. But no, you have to encourage. You can't force children or anybody to do something against their will, but if you encourage them in a certain way, they definitely will take the bait. That's what it's all about, encouraging.
It is absolutely good. Well, Brendan, I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish you the very, very best of luck. Wish your career and the album, really looking forward to giving it some airplay in May. I know we have Social Dancing and Walk Down Memory Lane, and the very, very best of luck from myself, Lucia Butler, and all the presenters at irishcountrymusicradio.com.
And I'd just like to thank you, Lucia, and all the presenters on irishcountrymusicradio.com, because you're doing so much for exposure, especially outside of Ireland, which is fantastic, because otherwise we wouldn't be heard in a lot of places around the world, only for the likes of yourselves. So a big thank you to all you guys as well.
Thank you very much. And the listeners, of course, they love to hear all these new artists coming up as well. And they said, who's that? Who's that? You know, I love pushing the new artists out there because I think they deserve that bit of exposure as well.
Yeah, it's very the lifeblood of the whole country music industry is exposure to as you say, to everybody, to newcomers as well. And if you don't hear these guys, they just wilt away. And and there's a lot of talented people out there at the moment, and all they need is a bit of exposure. So again, thanks to you guys for all you do for us.
Okay, Brendan, well, do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure. I know you've just come off the stage now and you're busy, and I know there's so many people there you want to have a chat with, so I will let you off. Thank you very, very much for taking the time out to come and chat to us.
Thanks, Lucia, and thanks to your listeners as well.
Okay, from Lucia Butler and
Brendan Magee.
God bless listeners, and I hope you enjoyed that wonderful interview.